everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to my work desk. Welcome back to Studioloo. So today I have something kind of fun. Last night I did 4 bundles of paper, a boiled book with the plants that I collected on my rainy walk yesterday. And I also added on top of them, if you've seen my videos before where I do boiled books or eco printing, I use these big rusty cogs sometimes throughout the piles of papers and fabrics to add the rust to the surface. In this boiled book, there were 2 pots that I used, and with each one I used these metal pieces, these big rusty cogs, to just weigh down the paper. So this is watercolor paper. There are 4 bundles of about 6 pages, I think, maybe a little more. And between them are just flowers that I found in flower compost at a local graveyard that I walk at, and wildflowers that I was able to pick. So let's unbundle them. So the way that I do this is basically you have your watercolor paper. You would fold the piece in half. You'd lay your botanicals on one side, fold it over, and then put something heavy on top to just hold it. Then once you have a stack about 6 high, maybe a little higher, so long as it's not going to topple over, what you can do is put your fold ends on this side, then this side, then this side, then that side, because it will help to balance that stack, because you've got botanicals in between and they kind of sit to one side of the paper. So you'll see what I mean if you do this. Like you'll want to have like this end of the book here, then over here, then over here, then over here, just to make it easier to balance the stack. Then once you've got your stacks balanced, you take whatever you have on hand. I had some boucle yarn, and I use that. Usually I use jute rope or twine or string. Butcher's string is fine. And you just do like a present. You go around both ways and tie it in a knot, and that's what will hold your papers together. Don't pull too tight though, and also don't handle the papers while they're in the water, because you'll tear into the sides. I think I actually may have done that in one of these bundles just a little bit, but it's not a big deal. There's a million ways to fix that, like collaging on top of it or even using these as backgrounds. So the one thing that I did different with this bundle from my last video is I ended up doing this late last night and needed to get to bed with the kids and all of that, so I didn't have time to like let them boil this batch on top for as long. They only boiled for about 5 minutes. I usually give them about an hour. So then I thought, what's another way to sort of try to leach the color out of the botanicals in a different way? So what I did was I just put them on, like they sit on a cooling rack in a basin when they're boiling. I just kept them on the cooling rack on top of parchment paper on this cookie sheet, and I let them sit overnight because that'll give them more time, right? So let's open them up. I have 2 under and 2 on top of this rack. So what I'm going to do actually is just sort of gently stack them. I'm going to take the rack out because that's what I want to keep them on. Let's pick this one up. I think if any of them are torn, it might be this one. So I'll just move the rack. And I might actually unbundle them onto, yeah, the rack itself. So let's pick this up. This is the wetter of them because they're on the bottom. So I'll just put my rack at the very bottom here. And I'll just set my stacks next to me here, even though they're a little wet, that's okay. I'm just gonna shut my other light off so we don't have a shadow. 1 minute. There we go. Sorry about that. I often forget to shut that lamp off behind me. Okay, let me grab one stack. And we'll just cut this boucle off here. Yeah, this is where it dug in. See that? That was because I was just trying to hurry last night and not thinking very well about what I was doing. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip it over, take the yarn off the back, just get the yarn out of the mix here. Then I'm gonna set the stack off to the side for a minute, and I'm gonna peel up one at a time, one paper at a time. and lay it down. So you can already see that the cookie rack gave some nice grids from the rustiness. This is a little rusty. I use it only for this. I don't use it for food. So then we open this one up. Okay, so this was like a large pink flower that had an almost succulent kind of feel to it. It was really, really thick. I wasn't sure what was going to happen with it, if it would just kind of turn to mush, which it sort of is mush, but you can scrape it up. The other thing about this is that you'll have an easier time doing this like right after you boil and let it cool. Because I just have to get a piece of scrap paper here, because the flowers won't have like had all night to get soggy, so these will be a little bit interesting to get up, but it's okay. They're not that bad. It does kind of come right off, but there, that one peeled a little more like what I'm used to. I think it's just these ones that are a little bit like succulent material. Yeah, there's one more there. Let me just give it a little scrape. That was a really small flower, but like, look how beautiful that is. Okay. Then we'll grab the next sheet. I'm just gonna lay it on top. I'll probably put these outside to dry. These were daisies, Gerber daisies. These were just some random yellow wildflowers. These also had like a succulent feel to them, and they were purple. You can see the blue from actually a red and yellow daisy, and then we've got the ghosting images from these tiny little purple flowers. Okay, next one. So I had this long strand here with these tiny little pink flowers. I don't know what kind of plant it was, but it was a wildflower. Then here's another one of those big kind of succulent feeling flowers. They do get a little gloopy, but they really are remarkable in what they leave on the paper. So I'd say it's worth it. Okay. Okay, so this was actually a leaf from the same plant as those pink flowers. Again, they also feel super succulent like, so they retain a bit of water, so they have a little bit of a, they're not as bad as the flowers, but they do have a little bit of like a gloopy feeling. Not that bad though. And look at the detail and definition that I got. Really nice. This was just a long strand of like fuzzy leaves with some purple flowers on top. Some kind of a wildflower, probably a weed. It does leave ghosting in green, and over here there's the purpley pink from the flowers. Lots of greeny blue on this one on the outside. These pink flowers, I think. So another one of those. And I had some little random little purple flowers, then a tiger lily. This is from a tiger lily, just the stem and some of the orange. And it left nice blue and green at the top, but again, the remarkable is the one is this big flower, this big pink succulent like flower. I don't know what kind of flowers they were, but they're gorgeous. And they were in an arrangement that had most of the other flowers in the arrangement had died, and I think that's why they had thrown them in the compost. But these ones are still good. And actually, dry and dead flowers are also very good for this. So if you do get like roses, you know, or if you have flowers in your home that you buy from the grocery store, when they get to the end of their life, you know, a lot of people dry them or whatever, but this is another option for what you can do with them. So this is another kind of almost like water retaining plant. It had little white flowers on it, and as you can see, where we don't enjoy the stem as much like on flowers in like, you know, decorating or whatever, or appreciating flowers, when it comes to eco printing and botanical like dyeing, the stems leave the most lovely images. So they're often more effective than the flowers themselves because they're just a darker color. They have, you know, tannins and things in them too. So that flower left a really nice, specifically very floral print. And then I had these little bluey purple flowers. This was a tiger lily. It almost looks like butterfly wings. It's quite pretty. Looks like a butterfly wing there. Okay. Another of those leaves from the succulent feeling plant. And again, we get a nice strong leaf print. And there's some purple in that one, probably from these little purple flowers that now look blue. This little stem there. You can see the stem. I've had a lot of people ask me, like, how do these look when they're dry? Pretty much the same, to be honest. They tend to get a little tiny bit darker, I would say. Like the paper itself takes on a slightly more gray tone. See, this is where the tear happened. Not concerned. Paper is still super useful. And then another spot where it tore is right here. I'm just going to kind of tap that. Believe it or not, because this is pulpy paper, it's watercolor paper, it's going to heal. If you just kind of tap and give it a little rub and flatten it out, it will heal itself. And what that's from is the stamen of the flower, the middle of the flower. If it's like got a pokey stem section, it can sometimes bust right through your paper. There we go. So just get all that off there. And this is from the same plant, all these pink gloopy guys. But I mean, there's incredible color on that paper, and I love how the pink shows up in the center and in the fine lines. It's really pretty. All right, that's bundle 1. Let's move on to bundle 2. Okay. Whoopsies. Yeah, I still got to be gentle here. The yarn, the boucle, so don't use boucle for this. Maybe see it's stuck to the fiber of the paper. It's because it's wool. It's a little bit grabby. Usually I would use like a cotton or like a butcher's twine. Okay, so this one has all the marking from the cogs, the rusty cogs. It's got some neat pink on the back. That's really nice. And again, these lots of these flowers that I got, these big pink ones. Okay, there was a yellow flower of the same kind of feel, and it left a nice purpley black impression. Just gonna slide that right off. There we go. Okay. This one's got lots of blue ghosty flowers on the back, and these are the Gerbera daisies. They were yellow and a deep burgundy red, and yeah, they've really left nice blue and lots of yellow. Oops. You can never really judge what you're going to get by the color of a flower itself, because typically the pigments they leave behind are considerably different than their color in nature. Okay, this big leaf. And another daisy. Oh yeah, so this was an experiment. I picked up some bark from a tree that had lichen all over it, like green and blue lichen, just to see what I would get, and what I got was pretty cool. Always experiment with things like this. It's like you'll often find that what you end up with is really cool. So Okay, and another piece of bark, and then these were like some tall purple kind of bluebell looking flowers, and another piece of bark. That one left pretty lighter and pretty much lighter impressions. It was from a different kind of tree. Everything matters essentially with nature when you're using it. Everything matters in terms of like little things, different kinds of flowers and trees. They do very different things. This is the one that I accidentally tore there. Okay, another Gerber daisy and some stems from those bluebell looking flowers and a couple tiger lily pieces here. Okay, so that's that one. Bundle number 3. Let's just be careful here with this one so I don't tear. Pull these all back, and just gently lift it up here. This is the one that didn't get as much time to boil. These two, I believe, yeah. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so there's the rusty imprints of the cogs. Okay, just give that a rub. Heal yourself. These are tiger lily. See how they leave really blue? Okay. And then there was some white hydrangea. That's this. It just tends to leave very ghosty impressions, but hopefully you can see there that you can see each individual flower, and then it's got like a golden tone to it. The blue was left behind by the tiger lily, and then I had these succulent feeling purpley kind of flowers. So I really like the balance of that page. Wow, so this is all hydrangea, white hydrangea, and I don't know how we got so much purple. I'm guessing from another page that has purple flowers on it, because this only really had white flowers on it, but that's amazing. You'll find that when you stack these bundles, whatever flowers you put in between, they definitely can seep down through the layers, and I'm guessing the purple flowers are in here. And they're just very strong. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so these are just simple little purple flowers. Again, from an arrangement. But they are like your perfect kind of eco-printing flower. And this is tiger lily. And then this is just a little piece of a random leaf that ended up in my foraging basket yesterday. My daughter was helping me out, so we did pick up a few things, but she did find some black walnuts, so that's good. I'm going to make some dye with the black walnuts that she found. There's some hydrangea, and then this long stem of this succulent-y kind of plant. It's beautiful. These purple, little purple flowers. They left nice impressions too. Okay. All right, some more of our pink gloopy friend here. This flower. It really does leave beautiful impressions. Like, this is the one that's just kind of, it was just kind of budding. It didn't have a big, huge flower. And like, look at the impression that left. It's really nice. I think because they retain water. The stem. Okay, then we just gotta scrape that one off. It's best if you just kind of scrape it off. It actually comes like better than fussing with it. So yeah, really nice. Okay, I got 2 more from this bundle and then 1 more bundle after. Okay, this was all hydrangea, so white hydrangea. So lots of gold, and you can really see those tones, or sorry, those details of the little flowers, all those little fine lines. And this one, I'm not sure what was going to happen with this. This was like a really kind of dry plant from a bush, and I think it would have needed more time to do something, but what it did do was I think it created these brown spots, which is kind of cool. Just going to flatten this a little more. There we go. And then that little flower, a little bluebell up top. And I think I have a little hole there that I could try to repair. There we go. Okay, last bundle, and I really like those speckles. That's cool. All right, so let's carefully peel this away. Done. And tip it up. Get rid of the yarn. Okay. Although the cookie sheet could have been what caused these spots too, actually, now that I think of it. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. This, honestly, it's so funny. This was a bright reddish orange plant when I picked it. It was like, and it was just getting its little buds down here, and up here it had full flowers. That's what those purple flowers a few pages back were. These were actually super bright red. And then these were actually little purple flowers that are now white. Okay. Gerber daisy. And then that succulent kind of plant. I really like that. That looks really nice. These are going to be beautiful in journals. Okay. Little yellow flowers. Another thing to think about when you're doing a composition this way is that you're going to get a mirrored image of whatever you lay on that one side. You'll get some kind of a mirror. It might not be exactly the same because like there's different, because plants have like a sun side and a moon side, and they have like, you know, certain amounts of tannins and natural kind of chemical like reactions. It's going to probably be darker on one side and lighter on another. But sometimes you do get like a pretty bang on same impression. Okay. Oh, that flower looks so pretty. I want to keep it there, but I can't. It's all blues and purples. It's really pretty. This was just kind of a random smattering of different little plants. Little tiny flowers. That's how I do a lot of experiments, is just add little things. When you're doing this, it's good to take notes, and if you can identify the plants that you're dyeing with, you'll be able to, you know, repeat things. And I'm very guilty of not documenting because I just kind of randomly experiment a lot. But if I were writing a book, or I were, you know, trying to do something with the same impression again and again, I would document it. Again, just more little random bits and bobs. This one is was kind of the bottom of the basket, little pieces of bark, but it's got a lot of great color. Okay, so we have made it through the 4 bundles of paper, and I hope you enjoyed watching the unbundling of these eco-dyed papers. I will maybe next week in my weekly wrap-up this weekend, I will maybe flip through these and just show them to you finished. So just look for my weekly wrap-up this weekend, and you'll see how they look once they're dry. So these are going to go sit outside and dry. I hope you have a wonderful day. I might be back a little later today, not sure. I am just getting back into the swing of things after vacation, so if I can, I may be back a little bit later with another video. So you have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. All my social media information is down below in the description box. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.